Have you ever wondered why every real estate deal, every skyscraper, every home, every commercial property, every hotel, every investment property, what it has in common? Have you ever wondered what it all has in common? Well, it all starts with land. So wealth isn't built on just houses, it's built on the ownership of land. And the most powerful overlooked asset in real estate is the dirt beneath the land. So that's the best part of it. So you don't need money to start making money by flipping land. I'm going to show you how to create generational wealth by doing that. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to tap into the hidden gold mine, how to use creative strategies to acquire land and with zero cash by partnerships or developing strategic opportunities to build a system that pretty much pays you for the rest of your life. All right, so it's time to stop chasing money. It's time to stop chasing temporary money and to start building true financial freedom. So I want to start out with the basics. The basics is what is land flipping. So land flipping simply is the process of buying undervalued land and selling it for a profit without making any improvements. So it's taking land and dirt, is flipping that land and dirt or subdividing that land and dirt and capitalize it from it by selling it to an end buyer or a builder or a flipper or someone else that eventually is going to maybe put a trailer park on it or put a housing division on it or whatever the case may be. So it involves finding what's called off-market deals and selling it to distressed sellers, where it can be done with as little as no money, being using what's called creative financing. So creative financing is where you're using a private lender or where you're using you're partnering with someone else that may have a database and you're monetizing from that opportunity. It's faster than house flipping. I've done house flipping. That's how I made my first million, was flipping houses, and I flipped over 100 houses. And literally with land flipping, you don't have repairs. You don't have a lot of hidden costs. You don't have to deal with contractors. It's just a lot of benefits. All right. So an example is, just say Ray. So Ray finds a piece of land and he finds it for about $5,000. So he negotiates with the seller and he does what's called seller financing. And the seller says, hey, I'll do seller financing, and you don't have to put anything down. So it's zero down. When then Ray then resells the deal for $15,000. So he then has the contract. So now he has ownership over the property without having to put any money down. And then he sells it to another buyer for $15,000. So he makes and that buyer pays him $5,000 down, or they may pay him monthly payments. So in all reality, Ray has now sold the land for $15,000. The $5,000 down, he's paying that to the seller, and now he has a $10,000 profit. All right, so this is how that conversation would be. So if I was calling the seller and I was Ray, this is how the conversation would go. Hi, my name is Ray, and hi, let's say hi, Regina. Hi, Regina. My name is Ray, and I specialize in helping homeowners just like you to sell their properties quickly. I noticed that the land in Marion County that you have, and I'm interested in making an offer on that land. Are you open to discussing a creative solution that puts cash right into your pocket without any types of hassles? I can have this closed within 7 to 14 days. So that's how the conversation starts out with Regina. All right. So the next step is understanding why land is a hidden gem in real estate. So most people are going after the houses, or most people going after the flips, most people going after the Airbnbs and all these other things that seem well. All right, I want to show you how land is a hidden gem in real estate. So land investing is pretty much an overlooked niche, all right, in real estate. And because I've done flipping, I've done wholesaling, I've done rental properties, I've done Airbnbs, I can give you pretty much a biased opinion about it, because with flipping land, it's fewer competitors. So you don't have a lot of people doing it compared to home flippers. You can do it from your home, so you don't have to literally be on location. You don't ever have to even leave your house for this opportunity. So landowners often are highly motivated to sell because of they're not attached to it, or because they're tired of paying taxes, or because it's part of an estate. So there's no tenants, there's no repairs, there's no property management headaches. So an example would be a seller has inherited the land. So they have no use for it. They just inherited it. It's a part of an estate or a trust. So you offer and take it off of their hands for a smaller fee through what's called seller financing. So seller financing, again, is a way that you can get into the business. And you may say, well, how do I get the list? I'm going to tell you in a minute. Well, what if I don't have the money for a mailer? I'm going to tell you in a minute. What other ways can I get into it, coach? I need to make some money so that I can flip it. All right. So here's the pitch that if I was calling the seller, which I do this every day. So this is the pitch that I would call the seller, and I would say, so most people don't realize that unused land can be a financial burden. So I'll take care of your taxes and make you a fair offer. Would you be open to discussing a win-win solution for the both of us? All right. So that's pretty much the conversation. All right. So ultimately, there's advantages to flipping land over house flipping. I've done them both, and I know that the house flipping looks more appealing. A lot of people are doing it, but I'm gonna show you how land flipping is more lucrative. So land flipping is it's a lower risk, it's a higher profit alternative to house flipping, because it eliminates the cost of renovations and inspections and tenant issues. So we're eliminating people's problems, the headaches. All right. So these are some of the key points that are important when you want to compare land flipping over house flipping. Well, you don't need contractors for home repairs. There's fewer regulations. There's a lower upfront cost. There's you can flip land faster with through seller financing or assignment deals. And I'm going to be doing a training later on next week about assignment deals. So assignment deals is a way that you can get into this business with little or no money as well. So an example is, you look at a piece of land for $10,000 and resell it for 30. Well, you lock in a piece of land for about $10,000, and then let's say we're going to resell it in 30 days for $20,000. So I'm going to double my investment without any physical work. So I bought it. Well, I put it under contract for seller financing for $10,000, and I sold it for $20,000. So now I have $10,000 profit, and I didn't have to have any of my own money. I did what's called seller financing. All right, so this would be the conversation I will have with the landowner. Maria, I know that flipping houses can be very expensive and risky. With land flipping, with there are no repairs, there's no tenant issues. So far, there's fewer headaches. Would you be interested in learning how you can profit from land with little or no money? So that's a script that I would talk to the investor, and I would tell the investor, who is Maria, that's interested in purchasing this land, hey, you can flip this land, you can sell this land. I'm going to give you this land for wholesale. All right. So no money, land acquisition strategy. So I'm gonna give you a no money land acquisition strategy because I know that you're watching this because you want to know how can you get into this land flipping business. You don't have a lot of money. So the first thing that you got to do is you got to convince the seller to do what's called to finance the sale. So we just talked about it. It's called seller financing. So a seller allows the buyer pretty much to pay for the land in installments. So if there's let's do this. This deal we're gonna call no money land acquisition. All right. So no money land acquisition means that the seller is gonna allow you, the buyer, to pay for the land in installments instead of requiring a full payment up front. So you pretty much are gonna take control of the land with little or no money. And then the seller understands that with that option, they want a steady flow of income. So it's better for them to get something than nothing. They really want to sell it, but if they can get something, they can't lose. So you're going to negotiate a lower monthly payment and sell it for a higher price. So you pretty much are the middleman. You're holding the note. The seller is holding the note, you're holding the paper, and you have the contract, so you have the ability to be able to sell it. So here's an example. So the seller wants $10,000 for the land. You negotiate to pay $100 per month for 100 months at zero interest. So now the seller is now the bank. You're paying on that property, and you're saying, hey, I'll even pay the taxes. I'll pay this. I'll make sure it's maintenance, because your ultimate goal is to get in it, to get controlling, to be one of the controlling partners, and for you to be able to sell it. So this is going to be what I would say to the seller. So instead of waiting months to sell your land, how about getting a guaranteed monthly income? So I can offer you $100 per month for the next 100 months, which is pretty much your full asking price. So this is incredible, because now you can sell it hassle free, and I can take care of everything. You don't have to worry about anything else. So that's how I pretty much would acquire, and I've done this before, how I would acquire the land with partnering with the seller and letting the seller now finance the deal. Me putting some skin in the game. It might be $100, $1,000. It really just depends on the land and the deal. But now I am a controlling party, and I can sell it at any time because it's in the contract. All right. So another way that I can get into real estate is by wholesaling land. So I could do that on what's called the assignment, assigning the contract. So when I sign the contract for profit, that means that you just say you're doing it. So you get a property under contract, and you sell that contract to a buyer for a fee. So there's no money needed. It's just an assignment of the contract. So now I can assign the contract to John, or I can assign the contract to Steve. So you pretty much act as the middleman, and the seller is the end buyer. So you profit, and the seller profits. Everybody profits, but the profit comes from the difference between the contract price and the resale price. So that's what you call assigning contract for profit. So an example of that, if you say, hey, coach, I'm a little confused. All right. So an example would be, you put $5,000, you put a $5,000 lot under contract for $3,000 to sell it, the contract for $5,000. So you put a $5,000 lot under contract for $3,000 to sell the contract for $5,000. So you're making a $2,000 profit without owning the land. So if I'm talking to the seller, I'm gonna say, I have a network of buyers for land just like yours. I can bring cash to the table, and I can get you a quick offer. Let's just handle some paperwork. How does that sound? So I'm gonna get this sold for you. Yes, I'm gonna make money from it, but I'm gonna get it sold for you rapidly. All right. So another way is what's called land options. So land options is when you are controlling the property without ever owning it. So this is when you pretty much pay a small fee for the exclusive right to buy the land, and there's an agreed upon price within a specific time frame. So this is low risk. This is low cost strategy. This gives you the opportunity to find the buyer before you commit to the purchase, and then this allows you to be able to work well. This works well with high value property. So if you have a value property and you don't have all the money, then you're literally able to get it under contract. So you're able to control the property by what's called a land option. And literally once you sell it, then you would then transfer it over to the buyer. All right. So an example would be, you get a 6-month option to buy a $50,000 lot for $1,000. All right. So within 3 months, you find a buyer for $70,000. And then you close the deal for a $20,000 profit. So if I was talking to the seller, I'm going to say, hey, John, instead of sitting on your land with no offers, I see it's been on the market for such and such and such amount of time. I can pay you a small upfront fee. Everybody likes money up front. They like what's called skin in the game. I could pay you a small upfront fee for the right to buy your property in the next few months. So that way you have a guaranteed buyer and I can handle everything. So on the flip side, now you're working on your end to find a buyer. So now you have controlling interest inside that property. All right. Another way is what's called adverse possession. So if there's tax liens, one of my mentors has used this strategy many times. So if there's tax liens or anything like that, this strategy works. So pretty much adverse possession means that you're acquiring the land by openly using it without the owner's objective for a certain period of time. So you're able to use it. You're able to buy the property when the owner fails to pay the property taxes. So adverse protection laws is pretty much per state, per situation. But tax lien investing allows you to be able to buy the land for pennies on the dollar. So for example, you buy a tax delinquent property for $500, and at the auction, and then you buy it at the auction, and then you resell it for $5,000. So you're able to now take assignment of it because you know that it's behind, or I can buy it from I could buy it from the seller as well. So if this would be what I would say if I'm talking to the tax lien seller. So I would say, hey, Bob, I noticed the county records has a tax lien for your property. Instead of losing your property, I can help you to get some money out of the deal before the government takes it. Would you be open to an offer? So I'm able to buy it from Bob and before it goes into the full tax sale, because Bob has control over it until it is sold totally in the tax sale. So, and if Bob comes up with the money, then Bob can pay it. So I do what's called an adverse possession for on the tax side. All right. So another way is by using private capital. So private capital allows you to be able to get a hard money lender or an investor to be able to buy the land quickly for you. So that's what we do inside of the Tycoon community. So we have a private hedge fund that will purchase 100% of the deal. So it allows you to pretty much scale your land flipping business quickly. So there's no credit checks, there's no bank approvals, there's no paperwork other than the contract, the JV agreement. And then investors often have flexible terms. So you can structure the deal to have not have to pay any payments until you close the deal. So just say, for instance, if a private venture firm or a private investor purchases the land from you, from Bob, you don't have to pay the private company any money throughout the duration of your loan until you sell it. So you don't have to pay interest only payments. Just like if you were flipping the house, you have to pay interest only payments. You have to pay all these different fees. Well, you don't have to do that. So just an example. So you find a $10,000 piece of land. You don't have all the cash or any of the cash. So you have a private investor that funds the deal, and you split the profits, just say 50-50 or 70-30 or however you negotiate. But now you're able to make something off the deal versus nothing, because now you could do multiple deals. You don't have to top any of your own money. So if I'm going to pitch this to a private lender, I'm going to say, hey, John, my name is Coach Demont. I specialize in flipping undervalued land, and I have a great deal that I do not want to pass up, and it can generate a lot of money in return. So if you fund this deal, we can structure something to where you're able to get your money back within a 90-day time frame. Or if you just give me 6 months, I'll have it paid back within 6 months. But would you be interested in partnering with me on a high profit opportunity? So that's how I would talk to a private lender. So now they're able to fund it. I have the seller. I still got to find the buyer, but now I don't have any money in the deal. So ultimately, some of the types of capital sources. So if you're trying to get into the land flipping business without having any money, I would say you can go to friends and family. So offer them a safe return for their money. You can go to other real estate investors. Look for those people that are seeking a passive income, and you say, hey, I'm going to do all the work. I'm going to find the seller. I'm going to find the buyer. I'm going to learn the process. Hard money lenders is going to be a higher interest rate, but it's faster funding. Private money lenders, we just talked about that. So that's for people that are looking for alternative investments. Equity partners, that's where you say, hey, will you split the profits with me instead of me paying you interest? So we pretty much will get whatever the profit is instead of me paying you interest, because maybe this may take 6 months or 12 months. But if I have multiple deals on the table, I consistently have deals closing, and I don't have to worry about, oh, well, what if I don't have any money coming in this month? All right, so how do we structure a private deal, a private capital deal? Well, you structure it by multiple things. It's called debt financing. So you're going to borrow money at a fixed interest rate. So that could be 10%, 9%, 12%. You could do what's called an equity partnership, where the investor funds the deal in exchange of a profit share. I just told you about that. You could do a JV agreement. A JV agreement means it's a joint venture. So that means that we are your expertise and their money. So you're bringing the expertise and they're bringing the money. That's what's called a joint venture. Or you could do what's called a profit split. That's where you handle the work and they provide the funding and they get a percentage of the profits. All right, so example. So an investor funds a deal for $20,000, a land purchase, a private investor. The market, you market. Okay, so an investor funds the deal for $20,000. You market and you sell the land for $40,000. After closing, you repay the investor $20,000 plus their 10% interest, which is $2,000, and you keep the remaining $18,000 profit. So if I was to talk to an investor about a deal like this, I would say, hey, my name is Coach Demont. I would like to offer you a secure investment opportunity where you can earn 10% on your money in 90 days. I'll handle everything from acquisition to resale, and you'll have a fixed return, whether that's 10%, 15%, or whatever that is, whatever we agree on. Does that sound like something you'd be open to? Most investors, if you say 10% for 90 days, they're going to love it. And they don't have to do no work, and their interest is secured in the deal, in the property. So yes, they 9 times out of 10 would do it. All right. So in closing, I want to do the last section of my training on how you can get into this business without having any money is to protect yourself. Always make sure that you protect yourself. So protect yourself from any investors, protect yourself. Like I've learned recently, you shouldn't do business with anyone or loan anyone money or do anything without having a contract. And that's vice versa, whether it's me or whether it's that person. So that way there's no gray areas. Oh, well, I thought this, or oh, I controlled this, or I did this, or oh, I made this move. That's why I made this decision, or you wouldn't have had this without me doing this, but whatever the case may be. then you don't have to worry about losing great relationships, and everything is pretty much black and white. So you're going to always use a legal contract to outline the terms on everything that you do. You're going to offer investors what's called a first lien on the property as collateral. So they're going to be the first lien holder. And if you're flipping houses, then you're familiar with this, because if you're using a hard money lender is always going to be the first lien holder. You're going to be transparent about the risks and any other exit strategies that you may have. If your exit strategy is to subdivide the 10 acres and make it 1 acre each, then you got to let them know that. If your exit strategy is to build on that land, then you got to let them know that. If your exit strategy is to refinance it and build on it, then you got to let them know that. So whatever that is. And then you're going to use escrow. So you're going to use escrow or a title company to handle the transaction so that it is a secure transaction. All right. So an example would be, I have a promissory note. The promissory note outlines the repayment terms. The inside of the promissory note, I'm offering the investors the first lien on the property as collateral. I'm going to be transparent about the risks and all the exit strategies, and I'm going to use escrow in order for that to happen. So the promissory note outlines the repayment terms. The joint venture agreement is going to define the profit share terms, which between me and the investor. And then the profit loan agreement is going to formalize the lending structure. So all of these things are now going to be a part of it. An investor, I'm building a great relationship with my investor. I'm keeping everything transparent. They know I don't have any money in the game. They're an investor. So you don't have to have money for that. So if I was to talk to a private lender, I would say, hey, this is Coach DeMont. This is a secure short-term investment that's backed by my real estate deal. So your funds are protected. So you'll earn a strong return. And if I don't pay you, you can take the property. So now there's no risk to the investor, because if I don't pay or I don't follow through the terms of that deal, then the investor can sell my land to somebody else or they can keep it. All right. So ultimately, those are some of the steps that have helped me to teach people how to get into this business without any money. You may say, hey, Coach, I don't have any money. I don't have any money to do to do mailers. I don't have any money. I'm just trying to get into this thing. So if you're trying to do that, then what you would do is you would find somebody to partner with you. Say, hey, do you have $1,000, $2,000? I need to get some leads. Or say, hey, I don't have $1,000, $2,000. So if I don't have $1,000, $2,000, I'm a partner with somebody that's a realtor or that has leads. And I'm going to reach out to them and I'm going to say, hey, you have leads that are cold leads. You haven't had time. You got the money, but you don't have the time to be able to call these people. I'll call these people. I'll call 50 people a day. I'll find the deals. And we'll split whatever the leads that you may have. So now you have people that you have a database of people that now somebody now is going to pay. You're going to pay somebody a percentage if you're able to close from their database. So I can get lots of people just have databases just sitting. So reach out to those people and say, hey, you don't need a system. All you need is a cell phone. So you use your cell phone, you call those people. Once you close enough of those people, if you do, this is my numbers. Let me see recently. So if your goal is to talk to 5 people a day, that's 25 sellers a week. Then that's 25 sellers, 5 sellers a day. That's 25 sellers a week. So that's 100 sellers a month. So 100 sellers a month, you should be able to convert 10% of those people. None of that costs you any money if you're tapping into somebody else's database. So after you talk to them, you send them an offer. You send out 3 offers in a day. That's 15 offers in a week. So that's 60 offers in a month. So if rule of thumb, if I send out 60 offers in a month, I'm going to convert at least 20 to 30 of those offers. So you literally now become a resource for somebody that doesn't have the time, but they may have the money. So hey, you have a database. Let me use your database because I want to get into this business, and I don't have the money to get into this business. All right. So in closing, thank you for taking the time out today to jump on my training. I'm doing a 40-day training, a 40-day training challenge. So make sure that you follow my page, you like my page, so it alerts you. But I will be teaching for 40 days straight. I also have a land flipping community where a land flipping boot camp, and I teach everything that you need to know about land flipping. You also get the resources to be able to flip land as well. But I wanted to do this class because what holds a lot of people back is the fact that they think that they don't have what it takes to be successful because they don't have money. Well, if you have the time, then you can find the money. All right. So I'll see you on my next training. Everybody have a great day.